Yo, what's going on, everyone? It's your boy Ben and JV from JBM Sports Media. Here today, we're going to be continuing our MLB season projection series. What team do we have today? The Texas Rangers. We do this like this: we go lineup, rotation, bullpen, win over total. That's how we wrap it up. JV, what do you think about this 2026 Texas Rangers lineup?
It's definitely an interesting one. Obviously, they filled some gaps when it came to their outfield. They need some outfield help. They were able to make that trade with the Mets, getting Brendan Nimmo, trading Simeon. Obviously, it worked out. They got rid of Simeon's contract, took on a little bit more flexibility when it came to Nimmo. Wyatt Langford's probably one of their best players on this team besides Corey Seager. If Corey Seager can stay healthy, he's probably obviously the best player on this team. But Wyatt Langford is definitely an up and comer. Jake Berger, he's feast or famine, right? He could hit 30 home runs and hit 200, or he's going to hit 220 and his power is down. So it was a very weird year for him last year. I know he was hurt a lot, and and then when he came back, his rhythm wasn't quite there. Jock Peterson had probably one of the worst seasons, especially the start of the season. I think he was what? It was like two for his first 47.
He was
I
really
think it
bad.
was. He was putrid. I mean, absolutely putrid. Josh Jung, another guy battling injury. Josh Smith is a pretty good second baseman, and he could platoon, play some other positions as well. Danny Jansen and Gashioka, I actually like this tandem. I think Danny Jansen's a very good catcher with some underrated pop, and Kyle Gashioka has some pop as well. And Evan Carter is another guy who's working his way back. So, a lot of question marks in this lineup, especially in the middle of it. I'd say from four down, you definitely have a lot of question marks. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens with this lineup for 26. If they definitely get the injury bug, they're going to be in trouble. I'll say that.
Yeah, because you look at several players on here that have suffered from that injury bug, mainly the two best players, in my opinion, Langford and Seager. I mean, I think if those two are healthy, then you have the catalyst for the rest of the team, in my opinion. Obviously, with Jock Peterson having as atrocious of a start that he did last year, if he could even just play 50% better than he did last year, I think that would be obviously boosted production in this lineup. Josh Jung, I do like. I think he's a very good third baseman, a very talented third baseman, and I think we actually had him in our bounce back candidates for the bounce back video we did because we do still believe in the talent that this guy has. And when you look at Evan Carter, another thing, he's a prospect that had a good rookie year, but then afterwards has not been able to prove himself by any means necessary because of injury or either just his production's just not there. So it's going to be interesting how he does play there. Obviously, they don't have no more Adolis Garcia, no more Marcus Simeon, and they brought in Brandon Nimmo, who I think is going to be a pretty good bat in this lineup, obviously leading off. So I do think when you look at the lineup in general, there's a lot of prove it guys on here. Prove it if they're going to stay healthy, prove it if they're going to give you good production. So that's going to be a fascinating thing to see with this Texas Rangers lineup.
Yeah, I think there's an ability to score runs, and I think Brandon Nimmo is going to have to be the guy that gets this whole team going. To be honest with you, if he could get on base and get into scoring position, I feel like he'll make a lot of things easier for a guy like Langford and Seager, and they'll have their opportunities. But like I said, four down, it's gonna be tough. There's a lot of question marks, and like also like I stated, Jake Berger's a feast or famine guy. Hopefully, they could get some offensive production out of that four spot, and hopefully, Jock Peterson has a 180 of a year turnaround because, like I said, last year was just not a good year for him. So we'll just have to wait and see for opening day.
Yeah, we'll see how that plays out. But let's go into what I think it's the best part of their team actually, and that is their starting rotation, led by Jacob Degrom, then Nathan Eovaldi, Mackenzie Gore, who they got via trade, Jack Leiter, and then Kumar Rocker in the fifth spot. What do you think about this Rangers rotation for 2026?
I think it's pretty good, honestly. I think Jack Leiter is a guy that we're starting to see maybe make a he's getting into his own rhythm. He's starting to feel, like he could be a pitcher in this league. I know it was a little bit of a struggle at first, but I think he could, be a good middle of the rotation guy. Kumar Rocker is another guy that's been just waiting to see what he could do at the major league level. I know it's been, definitely rocky for him. And Mackenzie Gore to me was a great move. I thought this was a great trade. I thought it stabilized this rotation. To be honest with you, especially because Evaldi and Degrom are known for their injuries and they're known for not making a full 35 starts every year. So if you could get 25 starts out of both of those guys, you're in good shape. And then obviously Mackenzie Gore, Leiter, and Kumar Rocker hopefully could give you 30 plus. That's what you're basically looking at of especially Leiter and Mackenzie Gore. You're probably going to rely on those guys to eat up a lot of innings and make a lot of starts. So like I said, if DeGrom and Evaldi could give you 25 starts, it'll be a really good sign for this Rangers squad.
Yeah, I agree with you because obviously we saw DeGrom stay fully healthy last year, but unfortunately Evaldi didn't. He actually suffered injury. I think it was towards July or June, and he was sidelined for some time, and that kind of derailed their momentum that they had. So adding a Mackenzie Gore arm, I feel like that's just gonna bring, even though he's not gonna give you the exact, under 3 ERA type of vibe that you're getting from a pitcher, he's gonna give you the strikeouts. He's gonna give you consistency. Hopefully, he gives you a little bit more consistency here with Texas compared to Washington, because I think you're gonna get more wins, obviously, in a team like this, and you're gonna get the vibe of we're winning. We have a good rotation. We have a good lineup if it starts producing. So maybe he could do a 180 and actually come into what we believe Mackenzie Gore could actually be in the starting, obviously here in the MLB. And then Jack Leiter, I think, is a fascinating name. Him and Kumar Rocker, more so Jack Leiter, because he had that kick changeup grip to him, and he was doing actually really good until he suffered, I think, a blister as well. Then he started jobbing a little bit. But I do still have feels that he's gonna do he's gonna have, I would say, one good year, and then that's going to see like how he does from the rest on out, whether it's going to be a promising career or is it going to be just one hit wonder. I don't know, but we'll just have to see, because I think the talent is there for Jack Leiter as well. Kumar Rocker, like you said, this guy is make or break, and he's been make or break for a little bit now, and I really don't know what to think about him, because a little bit of me says at some point, do you turn this guy into a bullpen piece and just be safe with it, or do you keep trusting the starting pitching rotation, having him in there? I don't know.
Yeah, well, yeah, there is nothing to know really because he doesn't give you much body of work for you to even make that decision. So, he's listed as a starter, so you're trying to give him those reps as a starter. But the thing is that you just don't know when he's going to be able to be available, and hopefully he's a mainstay in that fifth spot. It gives him a little bit of stability, and it just, hopefully he can pitch a full season because it just hasn't happened yet. So we'll see what happens. And thank God they got Gore because it gave them a lefty that they desperately needed as well, and it just gives them a little bit more, reliability in that middle of the rotation. Yeah.
Absolutely. I think, like you said, if DeGrom and Evaldi stay healthy, this rotation could go a long ways. And I think we all know that, because Mackenzie Gore being added into this rotation was a major plus. I really do like that. I think this is their big focal point of, all right, this is where our team's going to ride with. And this, I mean, injury aside, hopefully not, ride or die with this rotation, in my opinion. Now let's move on and talk about the Texas Rangers bullpen for 2026. What do you think about this bullpen right here, JV?
It's definitely going to be a tough one here. I think there's a lot of names here that are too much question marks. You got Chris Martin, Robert Garcia, Alexis Diaz might be a good name. That's a decent guy in the middle of this bullpen. Jacob Junis is a guy who's flexible. He could give you some spot starts as well if need be. Maybe 4 or 5 innings he can give you, and obviously that's good that he's in the bullpen. Josh Spores was actually pretty good, I think last year, but now he looks like he's in the middle of this bullpen. And what are you going to get from Carter, Baumler? So I'm not really too sure what we're going to do with this long relief spot here. Cole Winn is the setup guy, and Chris Martin. Too many question marks here. I think there's going to be a lot of games in late innings where if the Rangers are up by 1 or 2 runs, it might not be enough. I think teams can come back on this bullpen very easily. And if they're facing a good offensive team, it's going to be really hard to navigate this bullpen. I'm going to be honest with you. And the bridge to Garcia is not the best. So they're going to have to heavily rely on that rotation that we were just talking about.
Yeah, I think them losing Armstrong, Sean Armstrong, that was a tough blow because he was a decent closer for them. Now bringing in Garcia, I'm not saying he's not a good closer, but it's for sure question marks. I think this bullpen does have a lot of question marks, like Cole Winn, Alexis Diaz. What has he become now compared to what he was with the Reds? I don't know. I think there's a lot of question marks, and like you said, if the game goes into the seventh inning where they only have a 1 run lead, I mean, there might be a little bit of trouble once they tap into this bullpen. I think that's obviously a clear thing that we both have in mind right there.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think Garcia, you may see a lot of 5-out save opportunities for him. He may have to be a guy that they rely on to not get more than, has to get more than 3 outs just because your pen is just not that reliable. So I could see that happening as well, which is going to put a lot of pressure on Garcia to have to be good too many times and too much. So maybe a little overusing, by midseason could hurt this team as well.
Yeah, now it's time. Let's get into our Texas Rangers over under for the 2026 season right here. And the line set by FanDuel is 83.5. JV, what are you going over under for the Rangers?
This is interesting. What do I do here? I'm actually going to go under. I say they go 82 and 80. I think they fall short of it. By a win and a, by a win. I just don't know what's going to happen with this bullpen, and if they do have some hiccups in that rotation, it's not going to look good there as well. And even if this offense is clicking, you're going to have to basically keep up with your pitching. If the pitching is not good, your offense is going to have too much pressure on them to score runs constantly. And I'm talking like 5 or 6 runs. I'm not talking 2 or 3 runs. You're going to have to score a lot of runs in order to win games, and I think that's where they're going to run into a problem. I see them going 82 and 80 to finish off 26.
You know what? You took the number right out of my mind because I'm actually going 82 wins as well. I'm going with the under. I just think there's a lot of uncertainty, not only in the bullpen, but also in the lineup. If key names are not producing, then it's going to get rough to try to, get some runs for the Rangers because I think they'll be able to pitch with their starting rotation fairly good, actually. It's just, I don't know. When it does get to the bullpen, are you going to get some blown saves here and there? Most likely, I got to be honest. Will the setup guy maybe fail you once or twice during the year? Possibly. I don't know. I think there's a lot of uncertainty with the lineup as well. Like I said, will Langford stay healthy? Will Seager stay healthy? What will you get? No longer, obviously, no Simeon, no Adolis Garcia. I feel like it's a little bit of a revamp, and I think they'll still go and be a 500 team. Don't get it twisted, but I don't know. I'm not that high on the Rangers this year, if I could be quite honest. So I'm going 82 wins as well, hitting the under. Obviously, we want to know what you guys think in the comment section. Let us know what you think about the Texas Rangers in 2026. Are we being too harsh? Or are we critiquing them very well? Let us know. As always, make sure to subscribe here to JBM Sports Media. We appreciate all the support. Follow us on TikTok and IG at JBM Sports Media. Till next time, we'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.